Hello guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the Skirata Gaming channel on this very hot Saturday. I'm your host, Original Bon Jovi. This is the 7th and final episode of our history series. If you've ever wondered how Skirata came to be where and what it is today, and even if you haven't, you're in the right place. Last week we talked about Call of Duty World War II and Infinite Warfare Year 2. In this one, I'll be covering Blak Ops 4 in 2019. The beginning of Call of Duty Blak Ops 4 was much different than that of the previous game. Unlike World War II, BO4 actually worked. There was a bit of an adjustment period since the Treyarch mechanics and pacing and time to kill are really their own thing. But all things considered, the game was a blast. Skirata Eyeblind, who you might remember from our BO3 days, actually referred to it as the golden age of Call of Duty. For him, it felt as if we were back in 2012 or 2013. A number of people would probably take issue with that statement, especially now in hindsight, but the game didn't have jetpacks and it wasn't World War II, so that was more than enough for most of the community. The first Skirata nuke on BO4 was claimed by I Just Slay, one of our North American pub stompers. For the first several months of the game, we were pretty much trying to get back to the Infinite Warfare days of having full 6-man parties all the time and sometimes uploading to YouTube. Young Texas, Misconducting, Inform, and several others joined early in the game's life cycle. Boppity came back. Our techs quit the Call of Duty scene. There was just a bunch going on. Even so, the old school pub stomping ship had already sailed. The old way of doing things didn't work anymore. We needed to figure out what our organization was all about, and that's exactly why I titled our year in review video for 2019, Identity. Late spring and early summer just weren't the most productive times for us, at least as far as growth is concerned. With all that being said, we did have 2 meetups during that time. At the end of May, Lightning, Young Texas, Cloudy, Reverb, and I got together in Toronto, Ontario for 4 or 5 days. It was the first get-together we've ever done in Canada. We played a lot of pool, watched Texas help coach a junior high school football game, and in true Skirata fashion, we drank a ton. It was a very good time. Exactly 1 month later, I found myself back in London, meeting up with Therapy, Boise, Reaper, and Big Nut Big Chat. We had hoped to get to Biomiss there in time, but sadly, he had an internship that conflicted with that weekend. I was there for about 3.5 days, and Friday evening was by far the most eventful. Therapy, Boise, Reaper, and I ate dinner at Nando's before doing what we failed to do the last year, settling down at Witherspoon's and going absolutely crazy. We were there for roughly 6 hours, and it didn't take long for everyone to start dancing, ordering multiple rounds of Jaeger bombs, tipping the DJs and bouncers, and finally getting kicked out after they closed. My phone was charging inside when Reaper and Therapy went their separate ways, leaving me alone on a picnic table to deal with Boise and his giant puddle of vomit, and no way to get an Uber. We got back to the hotel at 5:30 in the morning, and I slept until noon. The rest of my time in London was pretty much sightseeing with Therapy, but I'm not complaining. He was a good tour guide. Things got real interesting after I returned from the UK. You see, during that night at the bar, I asked Reaper what he would do to get Skirata Gaming back on its feet. He suggested we kick about 3/4 of the people and start fresh. With that in mind, the managers and I decided to go dark for a month. We started rebranding and launched a massive recruitment effort with the goal of orienting Skirata as an entertainment-based Call of Duty organization. It wasn't so much about pub stomping, or competitive, or just casually partying up with friends. We resolved to push Twitch and YouTube, and that we did. Although it wasn't easy letting people go in the process of quote-unquote going dark, and it certainly never is, that was probably the best thing we could have done given the circumstances. The launch in early August proved to be a massive success. We had a game plan, skilled players, something like a true stream team, and a brand image to suit them all. There were a few pretty cool collaborations at the end of the summer, like when Carnage Ocean helped Texas to get his first nuke, and finally convinced me to give up Infinite Warfare. As much as I loved that game, I do owe him one for sharing his cracked Cordite class setup with me. The UK managers informed me in mid-September that they would be departing the organization before Modern Warfare's release to pursue their own goals. While that was definitely not welcome news, we parted ways on good terms and used that as an opportunity for growth, too. It was around that time that Misconducting and I came across Piaf while playing Kill Confirmed on Grind. Piaf, his buddy, and all their teammates were camping in the building in their spawn to farm kills and piss us off. Let me tell you, it worked. I wasn't happy. But the following game, also on Grind, we beat them 80-1. I went into his stream, said GG, and about 3 weeks later welcomed him to the organization. The rest is history. The last thing we did before Modern Warfare's release was a charity stream. Like in 2018, Skirata Gaming took a week in October to remember the deceased co-leader, Rebel, by raising money for a soup kitchen in his hometown. We were able to donate $1,150 in total. That more than doubled the money we raised the year before, and it was a tremendous honor to be able to give back to Rebel's community in that way. The end of this video marks the conclusion of the series. Obviously, we're still making history, but I think we're pretty well caught up for the time being. If you missed the other episodes, I highly encourage you to go back and watch them for a better appreciation of how we got to the present day. I've got a link to that playlist in the description below. Please leave a like, comment, and sub for more COD content on a daily basis. Keep your eyes peeled too, because we've got some cool stuff planned for the 10th anniversary on July 24th. Until next time, I'm Original Bon Jovi. Peace.
Keep the balance, mama, we're a family, I'm no politician. I just wanna help him make the right decision. Why does he just see this as a competition? It's just sad, it's all